Is it easy to grow and be a successful YouTuber? Well, as someone who used to co-own a channel that has over 65,000 subscribers with millions of views, no it's not. But does growing a YouTube channel as a VTuber make it any easier? While I think it's safe to say the majority of VTubers see their growth on platforms like Twitch, there are a growing number of talents that are looking to expand their content to other platforms like YouTube, which makes sense on paper. However, it feels like VTubers have a particularly hard time growing on YouTube. Granted, I managed to reach a point of consistent growth on this channel through a lot of experimentation with different forms of content for about 6 to 8 months. So I thought it'd be fun to share some of those experiences in video form, point out what I learned on my journey, and maybe share 5 major steps that can help other creators grow on this platform. But first, hi, I'm Bolts the Mechanic. I'm a retro mechanic VTuber and I've been streaming for about a year and a half. I started way back in February of 2023 without any real sense of direction for what kind of streamer I wanted to be, which is why I ended up taking a break in the fall of 2023 in order to reevaluate myself. For about a month I didn't stream on Twitch and started looking for other content outlets. I gravitated towards YouTube for 2 reasons. First, in a past life before I was a VTuber, I was a YouTuber. I co-ran a channel on YouTube called The Cartoon Cypher with my best friend, and we amassed a pretty solid following. We made documentary-style videos talking about the anime dubbing industry of all things, breaking down its issues, highlighting fun facts, and myth-busting a lot of misconceptions. The channel fell off a bit because videos just weren't really being shared by the YouTube algorithm anymore, and we just couldn't really adapt at the time due to other obligations. But I did learn a lot about what it meant to be a YouTuber from that channel and decided to carry over what I knew about the platform. The second reason I focused on YouTube was because I ended up coming across 2 VTubers who seemed to be growing almost exclusively from YouTube at the time, Rin Penrose and Punkalope. Unlike a lot of other VTubers who were just sharing clip compilations from their streams, these 2 were putting out fast-paced, scripted short-form content that was getting hundreds of thousands to millions of views. This is a direction I didn't really see a lot of other people taking, and I thought studying them would help me find my formula for success. I picked content that I was experienced in and that fulfilled a niche. I'm a retro mechanic who collects and streams retro games, so I wrote scripts that revolved around retro media. My goal was to be as informative and fast-paced as possible, working extra hours at my freelance job so I could hire editors that could match the style I was going for. If I had to sum up that style in a sentence, I'd say my videos are like what would happen if you smashed a Digino gaming video with a fraction of Chibidoki's chaotic energy. It took a while, but those videos slowly started gaining traction, with a few videos hitting beyond quadruple-digit viewership, which isn't super common in this sphere. Not every video was a hit, though. I actually took some videos down and re-uploaded them with better thumbnails. For others, I just needed to accept the fact that YouTube wasn't going to like them. I'm still adjusting to different algorithm changes that YouTube doesn't always tell you about, and I have failed to reach the point where I can just put out a video about anything and just expect it to gain the bare minimum amount of viewership that I want it to. None of this is helped by the fact that my channel, despite having accumulated over 3 million views at the time of this recording, still isn't monetized. And I'm not even close to getting YouTube partnership yet. That might sound strange, but it all comes down to how YouTube looks at your content, what kind of content it wants on the platform, and what it expects from you as a creator. In order to be eligible for monetization on YouTube, you need 4,000 public watch hours from long-form videos. The thing is, the way that YouTube counts a view and how they count a watch hour is very different. If people engage with a video for a certain amount of time, then YouTube will count that engagement as a view, but they will also separately calculate how long someone actually stayed to watch the video. For example, I did a video on the VTuber industry that accumulated about 4,500 views. However, most people only watch the first 30 seconds of that video before clicking off. So even though there are thousands of views on that video, the actual calculation of how many hours the video accumulated is closer to 100 hours, a far cry from the number that I need to monetize. But how can that be? Well, let's say you have a video that gets 10,000 views, but your YouTube analytics say that people only watch the first minute of it. That means the video only actually accrued 10,000 minutes of watch time. Divide 10,000 minutes by 60 so you can convert them into hours, and what you're left with is a total of 167 hours. Well, what about YouTube Shorts? YouTube wants your channel to go viral through YouTube Shorts in order for you to qualify for monetization. And to be fair, I do think it's easier for a short to pop off compared to a long form video. YouTube is counting short views, not watch hours, since a short can only really be 60 seconds long at most. The problem with getting monetization through YouTube Shorts is that they increased the cap for monetization to 3 million, and they expect you to reach that within the span of 3 months. I was literally 200,000 short views away from hitting that cap thanks to my viral Rosalina video before it ended up resetting. Now I have to start all over again. Even recreating the same conditions as the first viral video hasn't really given me similar results. I think it's fair to come to the conclusion that it is just naturally harder to grow on YouTube as a VTuber. And a lot of that has to do with both the type of content that is typically associated with VTubers paired alongside the average YouTuber audience expectations. VTubing grew on Twitch, so even if you have some random person log on to the website for the first time, it's not going to take long for them to come across other VTubers and get a sense of, oh, this is the kind of content that I should see on this platform. Things have gotten better compared to 5 years ago, but I don't expect your average YouTube watcher to know what a VTuber is. VTubing is not synonymous that much with the YouTube platform, and therefore, even if you create content that could appeal to a general audience, integrating that content alongside a VTuber model might throw people off. I think that's why a lot of the really successful VTubers on YouTube are those that have already gained success through other avenues, have huge company backings, or create content that specifically appeals to VTuber fans, like VTuber news, clip compilations, or tutorials about how to grow as a VTuber. You know, I just realized I'm gonna have very complicated feelings if this video pops off. I'll save that for my therapist. This is all pure conjecture, of course. I only bring this up to offer a possible explanation for why varied VTuber content on YouTube isn't as prevalent as you might see on Twitch. But I'm also bringing this up as justification for why I'm making this video in the first place. The market for a YouTube channel that integrates some kind of reactive or drawn avatar has certainly begun to grow in the past couple of years, so I would counter-argue that now is probably the ideal time to capitalize on that market, and I want to help. At no point am I going to say I am an expert on this platform, but I do think I know a little bit more than most about how this platform works, or, at the very least, I think I give off that impression, which is why so many friends have reached out to me asking for advice on how to grow their YouTube channels. Let me break down a few general rules to keep in mind about how to approach YouTube content, how to present your content, and what to be on the lookout for so that at the very least, you can experiment with what content works best for you. So get out your pen and paper, everybody, it's time for a lesson with Bolts the Mechanic. Number 1, make a separate VOD channel if you really need to. Please guys, stop uploading VODs of your Twitch streams to YouTube, or, to be more specific, do not upload your VODs to what you consider to be your main YouTube channel. I can definitely see the benefit in having a specific place dedicated for your fans to go and watch your old videos. However, these VODs are the antithesis to the type of content that YouTube wants to see on the platform. You could put out an amazing video or short that gets thousands upon thousands of views, but if the next video you put out is an unedited VOD, I guarantee you it's going to nerf any growth that you would have seen. VODs are too long, generally have a lot of dead space, and risk losing people's attention right away. It's better if you have your main channel dedicated to more edited, curated content that highlights the main appeal of your channel. More on that later. Number 2, always be wary of your numbers. Unless you're lucky, there's a chance that your channel isn't going to pop off right away. It took me a couple of different video uploads before I reached a semi-stable place on the platform, and I needed to experiment to do that. This meant uploading content with different minor variables like video length and upload time, then seeing how those minor variables affected my channel's performance in real time. I want everybody who is at least remotely curious about what I'm talking about to immediately pause this video and download the YouTube Studio app onto your phone. When you make a YouTube channel, YouTube Studio is basically your channel's backdoor. It allows you to gauge things like audience retention, audience demographics, in what ways your YouTube videos are being circulated, etc. If I have a video performing well, the viewership on the subscription pages as well as the YouTube Studio app on my desktop tend to lag behind the actual viewership numbers. But on my phone, I can actually gauge the viewership increase in real time by the minute. There are other apps you can utilize in order to get more real-time suggestions and data like vidIQ. I wouldn't say these additional apps are mandatory in order to grow on your platform though, as there have been situations where different apps have sent me legitimately conflicting information. If a video isn't performing well, consider testing out different upload times. Every channel has a period of time where viewership is at its most dense. You can generally find that information in your YouTube studio. A good place to start would be uploading an hour or two before viewership is at its most dense. If you learn that people are clicking off your videos after the first few seconds, maybe start a video with something more attention grabbing. Or if your video just isn't being shared in the YouTube Shorts feed, consider checking your title, tags, and thumbnails. Those things can have an effect on how well a video performs even after it's been uploaded. So if something isn't immediately performing well within the expectations of the video type, it's worth trying a couple of different options to see if that changes your viewership projections. Number 3, don't upload a video naked. Speaking of performing within expectations, it's important to note the bare minimum that YouTube wants you to keep in mind regarding shorts and long-form videos, such as title, thumbnail, descriptions, and hashtags. When it comes to thumbnails, you want something engaging and eye-catching. For long-form videos, it doesn't always have to be original artwork, but it also probably shouldn't be a random screenshot from the video itself. Fiddle around with Photoshop or other photo editing apps for a bit. Get something eye-catching and add some text that acts as a good contrast to whatever image you're displaying. The way I like to see it is treat your thumbnails like you would a bulletin board you see alongside the freeway as you're driving 100 miles an hour. When you're driving that fast, you only have a split second to recognize a billboard, which means it needs to be eye-catching enough to grab your attention and stick with you while your brain is already processing so much information. Same goes for the video title. Generally, the fewer words, the better. If you give away everything in the title, then there's no reason to click on the video. Ask a question or allude to something relevant that relates to what the video is about. YouTube Shorts are a little bit trickier in that regard because at the time of this video, you cannot upload a custom thumbnail to a YouTube short. It has to be a screenshot from your video, which you can technically select freely, but only if you specifically upload the short from your phone, which means that if you edited a whole short on your desktop, you have to do your best to get the thing on your phone and specifically upload it to your account on the YouTube mobile app. In fact, it's really dumb that YouTube pretty much encourages you to upload YouTube Shorts strictly from your phone, because it also doesn't allow you to update or add all of the necessary bells and whistles to your short from your phone until after the video is already uploaded. You can't upload a description, you can't add tags, you can't add it to a playlist, etc. For the love of God, YouTube, you've been pushing YouTube Shorts for a few years now and your mobile interface is still garbage. Fix it now! Okay, my head hurts. Sorry, that was really bothering me for like months, and I think I was just holding that in for a little bit too long. My suggestion is that if you're going to upload a YouTube short, do it from your phone, so that way you can custom select your thumbnail, but don't make it a public video. In fact, I would even go so far as to say that when editing your video, try to have a frame in mind that you think would make a good thumbnail. Make a scheduled upload on your phone, and then go to your desktop to add all the necessary bells and whistles to your short before it officially goes live. As for what those bells and whistles are, you want to have a description that's at least 1 or 2 sentences long, you want to have links to your social media as well as credit any sources that you might have used in the video. Then add hashtags at the end of the description. YouTube will prioritize the 3 most relevant, but it's good to have somewhere between maybe 3 to 8 hashtags in the description. You can even put 3 of those hashtags in the title of your video, but I've seen success from videos that both have and don't have hashtags in the title, so I'm not really sure what the correlation is there. There was a time where tags were really important for a YouTube video's growth, but they don't seem to be as important anymore. You have upwards of 500 characters worth of tags to work with that you can add, and while I don't think they'll make or break a video's growth, any additional information that YouTube is given when the video goes live will always help. Number 4, spot the difference. Now, while the bells and whistles associated with your shorts and long-form videos might be the same, it's important to keep in mind the way that YouTube treats these videos is very different. Shorts have a lot more potential to take off immediately in a short span of time. This is due to the way that shorts are often shared on the platform. If everything is in place and YouTube has an idea of what circles it wants to share your videos around, then it will promote your video in the shorts feed. The more engagement it gets in the first hour, the more YouTube continues to circulate the video until it eventually taps out. That's why it's not uncommon for the growth of a YouTube short to look like this, where it might shoot up in the first few hours and then flatline. Maybe it'll get a second win later, but there's no guarantee there. If anything, the growth will be the most prevalent in the first couple of hours to the first 3 days or so that the video is uploaded, and then after that, it more or less bottoms out. This is why keeping an eye on your shorts views in real time via the YouTube Studio app is very important. I assume YouTube does this because it wants to push creators to upload shorts virtually every day because, yeah, if you upload a short every single day, similar to what you do on TikTok, even when a YouTube short takes off, it's not going to mean a lot of longevity for your channel unless it ends up going viral. However, uploading long-form content does lead to more consistent engagement on your channel. Even if you upload a long-form video onto YouTube and it doesn't perform well, long-form videos increase the likelihood that your channel will get seeded. This basically means that YouTube will make sure that at least a handful of videos on your channel always remain in some sort of circulation. This doesn't mean you can upload anything. You still need to try, but don't immediately be discouraged if things don't work out right away. And the overall long-term goal should be that you're always being seeded on your or that the daily viewership on your channel steadily increases without you needing to burn yourself out. I've had situations where I've produced really good and really competent shorts every other day, but because I'm not uploading any long-form videos, it's very easy for the channel to tap out once the shorts tap out. I don't think it's a coincidence that my Rosalina short popped off around the time that I uploaded 3 long-form videos within the same month. If I was to make a suggestion, try to upload 1 or 2 longer videos to your main YouTube channel that are at least 3 minutes long, and then fill in the in-between time with shorts when you can. Number 5, leave your mark. As for what type of content you should make, that is unfortunately the part that I cannot fully help you with. Let me explain. There's plenty of content that you could put out there that's just engagement bait and will probably guarantee you views, but that's not the content I have a lot of experience in making. I do think there's a different way we can look at producing content on YouTube that makes us happy. YouTube wants content that's fast, digestible, and marketable. Look at MrBeast videos or look at other successful VTuber channels. Take cues from those that you look up to or those that are creating similar types of content to what you want to create, and then put your own spin on it. From what I've seen, the most successful and happiest YouTubers are the ones that are able to take the things that they love and present them in a way that makes YouTube happy. There are also great editors out there who I think you should check out that do a great job of making even my mundane ramblings sound interesting, and I'll leave links to all their profiles in the description of this video. I genuinely would not be anywhere without them, and we should support more independent editors out there. This brings us to my last bit of advice for the video. It's going to sound really generic at best and downright infuriating at worst. I know this because it's advice I was given and it took me a while to understand what it meant. But be patient. Twitch is a dumpster fire, but one thing I appreciate about Twitch is that you can immediately see all of your numbers and figure out what it is you need to work on or improve upon. You can see what games are trending, tags actually push you into the recommendations feed. You can even pinpoint the exact moment after a stream is done where you might have lost or gained viewership. That's all information that you can immediately work with to improve for your next stream that you could do tomorrow, and you can see growth as early as your next stream. YouTube doesn't always give instant gratification like that. I feel like nowadays we are trained into believing that if something does not take off immediately, then it's a failure, and that's just not right. A lot of the stuff we talked about in this video should hopefully paint a picture that growth on YouTube, even when you get really lucky and the stars align, is still going to be a gradual thing. You're not going to be able to put out a video immediately tomorrow if the one you upload one day fails, and even then, that video could take off a couple of days or a week later. Working on YouTube can teach you how to think a bit more in terms of longevity. When you're taking the time to analyze the data, experiment with different upload times, playing around with different thumbnails and YouTube titles, trying to see how you fit your brand into these pockets of content that are being viewed every day, you will see growth. But you have to be willing to put in the work and understand how the platform works. Again, nothing that I've laid out here is a guaranteed success, but hopefully I've provided people with a solid enough place to start. We're all struggling creators at the end of the day, but I genuinely want as many people in my creative field to grow as possible. We're already seeing so many VTubers pushing the boundaries for what you can do on Twitch. I would love it if we could see those boundaries continue to be pushed on platforms like YouTube. If the deck is stacked against us, let's use every single trick in the book to get that hand that we deserve. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video, and that means you just rewarded me with roughly 19 to 20 minutes worth of watch time. In all seriousness though, thank you all so much for checking out the video. Whether you watched it in small sections or sat down and watched the video in its entirety, every little bit counts, and I'm eternally grateful. A lot of work went into this video, and while I couldn't cover everything, if there's a small chance that this video could help at least one person out there, then it will have all been worth it. If you have any specific questions about running your YouTube channel, leave them in the comments down below and I'll do my best to answer them. Who knows, maybe if we get enough questions, then I'll make a follow-up video going into those specifics. Feel free to also subscribe or check out my Twitch channel for more random retro fun. Thank you all so much for visiting my humble little garage out here, and I will see you all next time.